Hey, what's up? Silas here. So, I've got something to say. I mean, some of you have been watching this channel. If you've been seeing this channel, you know I'm more like conservative. It seems like I'm going a lot against like people in cities, liberals, those type of Americans. But I have something about these flyover states, the red states, the countryside of the United States of America. Something that really irks me, grinds my gears. Beyond grinds my gears, I just don't get it. Why do you guys do this? I first noticed it when I went to university in West Virginia back in 2001, and it's still going on. And you might say it's just language, something small, something minor. It's not. It's really, really something that needs to stop. Especially now. It's current year, 2018. I need to stop this. Why do people say blue jeans when they're talking about all jeans? Like, just stop, stop. You guys need to stop. I was listening to a Taylor Swift song and just promised something, promised land or something. Let me check.
Got the radio on, now blue jeans, and I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve.
There you have it, right there. The line was, "Got the radio on, my old blue jeans, and I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve." So most people just think, okay, maybe she was actually speaking about blue jeans because most of the jeans are blue. But no, 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 no. There was one thing that people actually used to say, blue jeans, when they're talking about all jeans in that area when I was in West Virginia. Like, why are you doing this? I mean, not all jeans are blue. I know that's the typical color. Like, even jean fabric. When you think of jean fabric, it's actually a fabric. It's not like the actual color. I know, like, the default color is that denim blue and whatnot. But, it just, it's something that used to bug me. Another thing about West Virginia that was kind of odd, one of the another slang things was they would say sucker, or they would say sucker instead of lollipop, or was it the other way around? They'd say sucker instead of lollipop, and that one I kind of get behind that one because you kind of suck the thing. People end up biting it all the time, and another one was pop. They would say pop or cola instead of soda, or like I know people say soda pop, but what's with the cola thing, especially the cola thing? That's another thing, like the blue jeans thing, where instead of saying soda, orange soda, would they say I want an orange cola? Or here there's like pineapple, there's black currant, there's passion fruit. Would they say I want passion cola? Or would they say passion soda if they came to Kenya and said stuff? But anyway, yeah, just a random video about this. Just heard that song going and it just kind of made me spark. That thing kind of just reminded me thing. And that's another thing that I think when you travel places, the slang of the places, that's part of the integrating to the place where if you're in a location, even if you're part of that culture, part of that society, and you've integrated into the place, there's certain things that are going to stick out. Like you're just going to be ordering something and somebody says something and then you're like, oh yeah, you're not from here, are you? Or they just like, oh, what do you mean by this? And I kind of wonder, is there a point where you can escape that? And for that, I would really like to see the entire world have one language. I spoke about this, I think, in the Babel of the Sexes video a while back, where I was talking about how in the Bible, one of the key things about the Bible, like there's a lot of really good stories in the Christian Bible, good things to learn from. But one of them that I think was very, very illustrative of problems in the world was the Tower of Babel story, where people just started speaking different languages. And I'm wondering how many few things where somebody just says one word differently, one thing meaning one thing. They mean what you think they mean, but they say it in a different way, and then that causes some huge altercation. Like how many things just like a small thing? Oh, you just bring somebody is somewhere, they order a cola, and you're like, what do you mean? Do you want actual cola, or they just bring a soda? That's a minor thing, I know, in that one, but I'm trying to think of what other things can actually expand from there. How many small things was it just like somebody said a different word when they meant what you thought they meant, but they meant something else, or you think they meant something else? That's very confusing there. They said something thinking the same thing that you're thinking, but because they said something else, you thought they thought something else and you reacted in a different way. Or the inverse. Somebody may say something thinking they think the opposite, meaning the opposite thing that you're thinking, and you're like, yeah, let's do this, let's go with this. So, what do you guys think about that? Do you think there's any possibility of getting a world where everybody speaks one language? There'll still, I think, be slang and things like this that would still kind of indicate people's dialects and areas. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of a thing to kind of think of. But yeah, so it's like a side video. Like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. And oh yeah, also that Taylor Swift cover, a really old album. Who do you think rocked that hair better, that blonde curly hair? Taylor Swift or Beyonce? Huh?
Okay, so a little more about slang. I was sitting here drawing while waiting for some chips at a restaurant here in Kenya, and chips here are French fries. If you order chips in Kenya, that's another thing with the language. You get French fries. If you order chips in the United States of America, you get actual potato crisps, like the thin ones, Lay's type things like that. So that's a thing with slang. But somebody came in and they were complimenting my work. I could tell from their body language, their tone, and things like that. I was like, you know, Paul, Wendy. And then he said Wendy something like, you are something. I did understand the slang, but I could kind of tell from his tone and general way he was carrying himself that was a positive thing. So I was kind of reacting to that and being like, yeah, okay, going with this. Now I'm wondering, with the expanse of the internet and things like that, how many times are people saying things in slang, saying things in a certain way, where people aren't necessarily picking up on the other cues that you can tell from the tone of voice, from the way the person is carrying himself, the context is in there. And we as human beings still developed in a world where body language is still a big thing. And like you see with the art here, like you look at this doesn't look like the person is necessarily like in a bad mood. But then if there was something that was happening before the scene, where maybe somebody died and she's running and she's jumping onto the guy like, oh, thanks. And then, you know, there's different things you can do. But I think in general, you see this in the body language, at least it conveys more like this is somebody who is happy. And also another thing, somebody came and said, these people are Japanese. Now, I don't know if they meant the guy looks Japanese or if they meant it's influenced by the anime manga type of style. And in this one, I actually did make an effort to come in and draw more longer limbs. Most of my drawings are only like shorter limbs, more stocky type stuff. So I tried actually to do like the longer limbs thing, inspired by the manga anime type look. And I don't know if the guy was talking about that when he was saying, oh, this is Japanese, or he just thought they looked Japanese personally. So yeah, anyway, I think there's ways to communicate things in better ways. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to start including more art and things like that into my work. For me, this project specifically, the Carbon project that I'll be telling you guys about more later, is something that actually came to me, started developing to me when I was in university, in college, back in West Virginia, back in 2001. That's when it started crystallizing together, and I started realizing that this is more of how I communicate and understand the world through art in different ways. So I'm going to try and do that, and try and increase that into the content that I'm making, and tell you guys more about projects and things like that coming by. I'm going to be asking for your input and things like that. Let me know, what is for you some kind of slang that you think people don't get right? Or for you personally, what are other ways that you communicate besides just written language and that kind of communication? Anyway, goodbye.